Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a Chart Nerd Technical Analysis video. Today we will be discussing VELO. The ticker is VELO against USDT on the daily time frame. So looking at the chart today, what I wanted to digest, I was about to say digest, I'm not really hungry, but what I wanted to discuss is the Gaussian channel. Now I did do an update on this indicator a few videos ago, and what I really focused on is what the Gaussian channel sort of represents for us when in regards to trend direction, key levels of support and key levels of resistance, so on and so forth. So just a brief breakdown. I think we were somewhere here when I did my last update, which was around the 10th of September, and I was saying that if we do sort of see a larger pullback for support here, we have three areas of interest moving forward for VELO, and those are, so this is one of them, and this is the top regression band of the Gaussian channel. You have the top band, you have the middle band, and you have the lower band. When you are in an uptrend and above all of these bands on any given time frame, you're in an uptrend on that time frame. So if we look at this as the daily, for example, when we had a bullish flip here, which was on the 27th of August, you can see we exited from this downtrend, and this is where we formed our double bottom foundation period. So right in between the flip from entering into bearish to going into entering into bullish trend direction with the Gaussian is where we built our foundation. Now from this foundation, what happened was we had the impulsive move, which actually took out all of the bearish resistance bands quite quickly. So we came up quite impulsively from this 0.007 bottom, and what we did is we actually reclaimed all levels of the Gaussian channel. Now when we did this, we had some sort of A, B, C correction on the day that this Gaussian channel flipped green. So the day that this flipped green gave the indication that we came back to support and we was looking for continuation of the trend. So when we actually entered this trend after a bullish ABC correction, so we had this impulsive move ABC, and then we got the continuation to higher highs within this period from our lows. Okay, but what we haven't done on the way up so far is tackle out of the local 0.028 highs. So what we're trying to analyze right now is from this impulsive move where we did reclaim all levels on the Gaussian, what has happened? Well, if you watched yesterday's video, I did point out that we put in this sort of higher high in price, and in the MFI, which is the money flow index, we put in a lower high. And what this did on the daily for back here in this period was create a bearish divergence. So still in an uptrend because we're above all of the EMAs at this point, but at this point we did come in for that bearish divergence, and we have now come back in and retested all of the levels of support on the Gaussian channel. So on the 30th of September, we came down and lost the top band quite quickly. We then came back down a few days later to the middle band. We lost that, but didn't retest the lower band at this point. What we did was then run up to the middle band and confirmed it as resistance. So once we lost the two first support lines of the Gaussian, we found a low, ran up and confirmed it as a resistance point on the middle, and now we have finally came back and retested the lower band of the Gaussian channel. So each of these regression bands has now been met, and we are literally on a knife edge on the lowest band right here, holding as support. And I think also in yesterday's video, if you was with me, I was discussing that we are sort of on the verge, very close to this verge of holding support on this ascending trend line. Now you can look at this in many ways. You can analyze from this wick, go into these closes, and you can say that we're on the trend line right now with the Gaussian as well. Or if you just want to go off candle closes, for instance, and we do drag this a little bit lower, what this does, and you can see here that we're using the 0.007 bottoms as support on the candle closes, this still would entail a further pullback, which brings us into the 0.011 region. So there's still, I think, over the next week or two, we still have, going into the end of October, I think this is where VELO is trying to make a decision, because we came into this bearish divergence. I don't have the indicators on right now, I'm sorry, I just want to fly through this one quickly today. But we did have a bearish divergence. That bearish divergence is now playing out, and what this could be is some sort of last dip down to the candle closes of support on this ascending trend line, before then getting the next leg up and continuing the wave on back to these local highs that we've fallen from back in May. So it's all about where this sort of bottom is on the charts. This low right here where we're sort of putting in a double bottom right now on 0.012, that could initially hold because we've come back down to the Gaussian. We've retested this area once more for support. So if we do see the closeout today above 0.0129, I think we are looking okay and potentially could put a double bottom in. But really and truly, because of this wave down and then the fact we had this run up into resistance of the mid band and now we've come back to the low band, if this fails to hold, then essentially what we're looking for is this ascending trend line for support moving forward for VELO, and that could confirm this low going into the end of October here, it would seem, at which point I think a decision would have to be made for VELO, and we would need to start reclaiming all of these regression band levels in order to see continuation here on the Gaussian. But it just goes to show that I think really and truly from this bearish divergence where we put in this top, this potentially could just be some sort of ABC correction. VELO loves ABC corrections. There's an ABC here. This potentially in itself was something I was analyzing before, where we had an expanded flat where this was an A, this was a B, and this was a C. But really and truly, if we do sort of sweep this low, that invalidates that theory, and this from this local top here, which in fact was the local high of this recent move, could then indicate this is the ABC for VELO. And what we previously had from this low was some sort of wave 1. This was an ABC wave 2. We had a wave 3, a very deep, quick wave 4, and then a short wave 5, which just took out this high. So we could have completed this 5-wave move, or you could look at even a different 1, 2. This was a 3, this is a 4, this is a 5. But nonetheless, it was an impulsive move that has met a top. This is the highest point. So therefore, this potentially could be the B wave we've just been rejected from last week in October, and right now we're looking for the C wave back down to this ascending support at 0.011. There is also another point of confluence that gives to that, and that's this Fibonacci here, where if we do lose the 0.0125 low that we're currently trying to hold as support, if we do lose that and the lower regression band of the Gaussian, you've got the 1272 which sits at 0.0118, and you've got the 1618 fib extension which sits at 0.0109. So that sort of 0.011 area is a very interesting level for me, and it has been for quite a while. At this point, I think, again, just like we did here between this period, just like we did in this period where we built our 0.007 bottom, I think during the period we're between now, we're trying to decide somewhere around here where this next bottom is, and if we can hold up at this point, you can see that we're slowly just sort of grinding our way up the stairs and looking for continuation of the trend. Now, I still believe that this is also a complex wave 4 correction, just coming back down to a key level of support on the previous double bottom. So we could have a bit of a crossroads here. This would lead into November, I think, around the 12th to 13th of November, if we do collide with horizontal and ascending support at the same time. There's a crossroads here, but I think sooner rather than later, VELO will make a decision. If we can hold these 0.012 lows and start bouncing here, fantastic. If we can't and we do lose this low and sweep it, I would expect a minimum retracement to this previous double bottom resistance that is now a potential area of support. If we can sweep that and then get the break, fantastic. That could be wave 4 out of the way. If not, we could come back a little bit further and retest this ascending trend line of support, which is continuously changing, guys, because it's an ascending level. It's always moving in price depending on where the price is going for the project, so it's very hard to say. But we have those two key lines of support to look out for. So you've got the ascending support line on candle closes, you've got the 0.007 double bottom neckline as a level of support too. And again, as I said, this would sort of confirm to me this is a wave 1, this is a wave 2. We've just had a very impulsive wave 3. Right now, this whole sort of downtrend from that top is a wave 4. It's whether or where this low is. Come back. You could come back as low as wave 1 to validate this theory, by the way, a 5-wave move. So if we come back as low as wave 1, that's 0.0117. It's a high potential, and then at that point, this is where I think you get the wave 5, which is where we start marching on and looking to retrace back to these local highs that we've fallen from in May. So that was it today, guys. I just wanted to discuss this sort of bearish flip that we had on the 16th of June. This is where we formed the local bottoms and lows that we're looking to hold for VELO, and we started this impulsive move, flipped bullish into the Gaussian channel. Right now we still are above the lower regression band and retaining structure, and as long as we hold this wave 1 high at 0.011, I think we are good for continuation. I hope you enjoyed the update today, guys, from Chart Nerd TA. Take care, and at most, look after yourselves. Peace out.